Hi everyone, welcome to the Moving to Australia podcast. Getting professional help with your visa application for immigration purposes is common knowledge and practice. What most people aren't aware of is that only certain people can provide immigration assistance: a migration agent, legal practitioner, or an exempt person. OMARA, the Office of the Migration Agents Registration Authority, a government body within the DHA, ensures that people who receive immigration advice are protected by registering only those who meet their qualification and character standards. When a client hires the services of a migration agent, they place a great deal of trust in them. The client expects the agent to act competently and use their immigration knowledge to help them achieve the results they want. But they also want the agent to act ethically, that they will be honest, fair, and act with integrity. In today's episode, we shall deliberate on why ethics and ethical decision making is important to the work of a Mara agent. And to discuss all this, with me in the studio is Amitava Deb. Good afternoon, Amitava. How have you been?
Good afternoon, Arun. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Amitava. So, can you give a quick overview of Omara and its role?
Yeah, absolutely. OMARA stands for the Office of the Migration Agents Registration Authority. OMARA. So it's a government body that operates as part of the Department of Home Affairs in Australia. Its primary role is to regulate registered migration agents. This means OMARA is responsible for registering qualified agents, ensuring they meet ongoing professional standards, monitoring their conduct, and handling complaints made against them. So, OMARA essentially protects the public by ensuring migration agents act professionally, ethically, and in accordance with Australian laws. A migration agent registered with OMARA has to renew his or her license every year. There are strict CPD requirements for renewal. CPD means continuing professional development. So it is definitely a highly regulated profession.
What is the code of conduct for registered migration agents? Because we see this all over the DHA website. So, can you just
Yes.
walk us through that?
Yep. So every a registered migration agent must display the code of conduct in their office, or if they have a website, it must be there visible on the website. So what is the code of conduct? The code of conduct is a legally binding set of ethical and professional standards that all registered migration agents must follow. It covers a wide range of responsibilities, from being honest in communication and maintaining client confidentiality to charging fair fees and avoiding conflicts of interest. The code ensures that agents act in their clients' best interests and maintain integrity in the profession. Breaching the code can result in disciplinary action by OMARA, including suspension or cancellation of registration. So, if someone consults you, you should go into the OMARA register and check. They have a list of suspended or cancelled agents. You can also verify that your migration agent is registered or not on the registry.
So, how can Mara agents think and act ethically? What would they need to consider before taking on a client?
Right, okay, good question. Ethical behavior starts with understanding the client's situation clearly and honestly assessing whether you are competent to assist. Before accepting a client, a MARA agent should ensure there is no conflict of interest, that the client understands the migration process and fees involved, and that the agent can act in their best lawful interest. It is also important to manage client expectations realistically and be transparent about the chances of success. Ethical agents will always prioritize the truth over false hope. Um, in regards to conflict of interest, I want to touch slightly upon that.
Yeah, sure.
So, if an agent is representing two parties, one, for example, is the husband and the other one a wife for a visa application. If they split, then there is a conflict of interest if the agent tries to represent both. So this is an example of conflict of interest where the migration agent must ensure that such situations do not arise.
Okay. Is there a tool available for someone who is seeking immigration advice that guides them to find the right registered migration agent?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned about the registry earlier.
Yeah.
The OMARA website, mara.gov.au, I think. OMARA website offers a public register of all current registered migration agents. You can search by name, location, language skills, areas of expertise, the name of the organization. There are a lot of search options. This is a great way to verify an agent's registration and find someone who suits your specific needs. Additionally, the website includes guides for clients on what to expect when engaging a migration agent.
What measures can a client take if the Mara agent does not act in the client's lawful interests?
Okay, first of all, let me just back, backtrack a little bit or step back. Um, Whenever a client engages with a migration agent, the migration agent must provide a consumer guide. And that consumer guide indicates what measures a client can take if the migration agent does not act in the client's interests or if there is a situation that demands intervention from MARA. So, if a client feels that their migration agent has not acted in their best interest or has behaved unethically, they can lodge a formal complaint with OMARA. The complaint can be made online through the OMARA website. OMARA investigates complaints seriously and has the power to issue warnings, impose conditions on registration, or even cancel an agent's registration if misconduct is proven. It is also important that clients keep records of all communications and documents in case they need to support a complaint. According to the Code of Conduct, a MARA agent must maintain all communication and all documents for at least 7 years.
Yeah, it's good to know. What should one keep in mind before signing a contract or service agreement with the Mara agent?
Before signing any agreement, make sure you understand what services are being provided, the total charges, the payment schedule. The agreement should outline the scope of work, responsibilities of the agent, and your rights as a client. A registered MARA agent is also legally required to give you a copy of the consumer guide, which I mentioned a little while ago before any agreement is signed. If you're unclear about any terms, don't hesitate to ask for clarification. A trustworthy agent will always be willing to explain.
Thank you for those wise words, Amitava. And your final thoughts before we end the
Okay,
podcast?
yep, sure. So, migration can be a complex and emotional journey. Engaging a registered and ethical migration agent can make the journey clearer, safer, and more successful. I encourage anyone seeking migration advice to verify their agent's credentials on the OMARA website, read the consumer guide, and always feel empowered to ask questions. It is also important to be aware that there are many unethical agents overseas who promise employment in Australia as a pathway to migration, often charging large sums of money. Similarly, within Australia, there are unscrupulous employers and agents, of course, middlemen, who exploit the employer nomination system by demanding excessive fees, even from individuals who may not meet the genuine skills or experience requirements. In such cases, always consult a registered migration agent before proceeding. If you participate in fraud or unethical arrangements, remember, it is only a matter of time before it catches up with you. Trust and transparency remain the foundation of a lawful and successful migration experience. That's all I have to say.
So for those of you listening, before you appoint someone to act on your behalf relating to your visa matter, make sure you have done your due diligence. Your authorized representative cannot provide immigration assistance unless they are a registered migration agent, legal practitioner, or an exempt person. It is important to know that any person who helps with your immigration matter cannot guarantee you a visa. Tawa, thank you for your time, and we
Thank
shall
you.
see you again soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.